Wait a second. Hey, it's you again.
It's you guys again.
What?
This is getting weird.
Oh my goodness gracious. You found us.
Thank you so much for finding us, you creepers.
Oh goodness. Well, since you're here already, I guess we might as well have a little podcast, yeah?
Yeah, might as well. It's convenient timing.
Okay. Well, then you will get what you wanted, because today's topic is getting motivated and avoiding burnout.
Yeah, which is a huge thing. Like, I think it's honestly one of the biggest reasons why people get results and don't.
Yes.
To be honest. Yeah.
Motivation, it determines a lot of things. Focus, drive, intensity. Because I know that when I'm not motivated, a workout suddenly becomes like 10 times harder. But if I'm in the zone and I'm so motivated, there's like nothing that can stop me, and I never get tired. Yeah. So obviously getting motivated is pretty important.
Yeah, I would put it up there as, honestly, I'd probably put it up as like the number one thing, because you're not adhering to the plan. Adherence is number one, but if you're not motivated, you're not going to adhere to the plan. So I guess today we're going to go over some of the things that you've gone through, some of the things that normal people go through, and as a coach, what I see, and how we can help you guys stay more motivated and what to do when you're down, and try to come up with solutions for that.
So before we even go over those things, I want to know, because you are one of the most motivated people I know. Like, you are always working. You can't stand to sit still for a second. You're always trying to get work done and do it extra.
Yeah.
You have a very successful business. You own a gym. Like, how do you do it? How do you find the motivation?
That's a good question. Honestly, I think it's just habits that you create. And what I always tell myself is, like, right now, I know that, how do I say that? I want to say this humbly as possible, but I say right now people kind of know who I am, and I know that that's a wave I need to ride for as long as it is, because I look at my stuff like actors' careers, and you could look like top guys like Vin Diesel, who was like super hot when he first came out with Fast and Furious, and all of a sudden he disappeared for a while, And if a guy like that can do that, then I know a guy like me can do that, no problem. So my job is to stay as popular as I can, or stay as in the light as I can for as long as I can. And as soon as you stop, doing that, then you run that risk. And so for me, it's like, one, I don't ever feel like I work, though. I love this. I don't think I have ever taken a break for years, but I just don't know how to live a different way at this point. I think I've developed a habit of that. And I think that's the same thing applies with like fitness too. Yeah. Once you develop that habit of, hey, this is just how you live. It's
like a habit. It's just like taking a shower.
Yeah. So for me, a little bit of it is scared of falling backwards, right? And then doing something about it, which I guess could be the same as you falling backwards with your results and then doing something about it. And then two is I actually enjoy it. I actually still enjoy it. Yeah.
How do you stay so happy all the time and not complain? Because you never complain. Like, even we did the Santa Monica stairs yesterday. He had to wake up 7 a.m., which is early for him, but he never complained. Yeah, but you never complain.
We had an interview until like 12:30 the night before too.
Barely any sleep.
Yeah, that sucked.
But you still smiled and you didn't complain, even though you sucked. Is there a mentality you have when it comes to like complaining, or how do you look at it? Well,
the thing is, like, and it's the same thing I think with competing too. It's a choice. So, you could choose to be happy. You could choose to let things affect you negatively, and or you could choose to just be happy. Yeah. But also, what I do to myself, and I will agree, I work probably way too much. I have quite a few other things that I do too. And like the crew at the prep center is always like worried that I work so much. And I'm like, guys, don't worry. I've been doing it like this for 20 years. Like, I'm not going to break. Like, I've already done it for so long. I've already gone past that point. But, you got to remember too, like, the things that you do, and when you work this hard, it's self-inflicted. Yeah. Like, if you're choosing to do a show and it's hard, well, that's your choice. If it's hard, yeah, of course it's hard. You're doing a show. Like, then don't do it. You know what I mean? Yes. Like, so to me, it's like, yeah, of course sometimes it's hard, especially when it gets close to this time and we're doing all these different things at the same time. But yeah, it's my choice. Like, if I didn't want to do it, then I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't complain about something you're choosing to do, Adam. Just do it, and do it like, and you can go to work and be mopey and be like, oh, I gotta go work today. Or you can go to work and like be happy that you even have work. And that's how I look at it too. Because when I started as a trainer, I was really young when I started as a trainer. It was almost 20 years ago. August 8th will be my 20-year anniversary as a trainer. Crazy, right? I know, right? So it's like a year. But when I started, I couldn't get a client. I couldn't get a client. Like, it took me to get my first client, and I don't know how I even hung around. My first client, it took me 3 months to get my first client. So I was just in the gym for free for 3 months. And I would get paid minimum wage. And back then, minimum wage was like $6.75 or something. While I was there, only 4 hours, 3 days a week, or 4 days a week, which they could afford to pay me. They didn't give you that many hours. So I finally got a client 3 months later, and then she canceled her sessions before I could even train her because she spent the money. It was like so heartbreaking, and everyone's like, man, this guy really wants it, but he's just never gonna make it. So I remember that, and I think about it, how I used to sit behind a table. Like, when someone walked into a gym, I would sit behind a table for free for 8 hours to 10 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And I would do body fat on people, like body fat tests, and that's how I'd get to start talking to people when they came into the gym. And then when they're leaving the gym too. So I remember I must have done, I can't even tell you, thousands and thousands of body fat tests on people who are leaving the gym, like old men that are gross and hairy and sweaty, like, and I'm touching their skin, and it like grossed me out still. And after they left the gym, but that's what it took. And so I remember, hey, you know what? I'm in the fortunate position where I'm getting to run stairs with Ashley today.
Hey, which is better than taking the body fat percentage of a hairy man.
Exactly. So remember to yourself, like, it could always be worse. This is a choice that I've made to work this harder, to do this show or whatever, and then enjoy it, and choose to enjoy it. Yeah. So I guess that same question can kind of go to you, because especially for you, and I want to give you like a little bit of my experience that I have with people at the pro level, especially too, because I get pros at all levels, at all stages, of their career. I have pros who like just started doing shows, and they like, they got a pro card within a year or two, and they're like super excited, and they're so motivated, and then they'll adhere their diet like almost too much, almost where it's like, whoa, you could settle down a little bit. I get that you're following your plan, like, it's cool. And then I get people who have been doing it for years too, and it's like they're halfway in it now. They're following their diet most days of the week, but a lot of times they just fall off for like a week or two, and they're kind of like halfway going out. You know what I mean? So I get everywhere in between.
Yeah.
You've been doing this how long now? Like,
oh gosh, consistently since 2012.
Yeah. And just so you guys know, she's super motivated. Like, it's crazy because she doesn't have
my downs too, though.
How many times though in like the last 2 years we've been together have you had like a breakdown cheat meal?
I mean, I wouldn't say a cheat meal. Like, it'd be more like, well, today's a waste kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I've been unmotivated before, and I was before Japan, because I overwhelmed myself.
Yeah.
I booked my schedule way too much travel, and then by the end I was kind of like, oh my gosh, exhausted.
Yeah.
I remember I was like tired of chicken.
Yeah.
I just wanted just to have to worry about like prep food and stuff like that for a while. But it goes up and down. But something, I will say something. That was really poetic. Something? I'm going to say something. That's going to be my number one quote that I'm known for. I am very similar in the sense that I feel like I did this to myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can't complain too much, although I do complain more than you. But also, in addition to that, I kind of have this mindset like, okay, we have one life, I'm not going to be able to do bikini competitions forever. So I'm kind of using the time that I can to my advantage and doing all that I can, just like you're doing all that you can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be like one of those older bikini competitors or anything like that. I don't see that happening, because I don't want to like draw it out like, okay, she's past her prime and this is just the leftovers. Like I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And not that the older ladies are experiencing that, but you've seen me at my prime. I just don't want it to ever like fade away, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I want to, be able to still compete and be competitive and in the mix. But anyway, I don't know, man. I just have that mindset too. Like, you got to use this time to your advantage. And I also, like I mentioned before, we have one life, and you might look back when you're older and say, oh man, I woulda, coulda, shoulda done this.
Yeah.
Or you can look back and be like, dang, I did that. I did that, you know?
Yeah.
Something you can share with your grandkids if you have grandkids. You can be proud and look back on all the memories you created just because you decided to keep pushing through. And I think that is something in the back of my mind always that keeps me motivated to an extent. And just the realization that something that you do now is going to affect your life later on is also a big wake-up call. I think sometimes when people slack or cut corners or don't take the opportunities they should, they're thinking about the present because I don't want to get up that early, or it's going to be miserable, but they're not really looking at the bigger picture with like, okay, I did that, it got me further in life to where I'm able to do this, and then it just keeps building on everything else. And that's not even just fitness. That can be applicable. Oh my God.
You don't ever do this.
Applicable. I promise I graduated high school. Applicable. Anyway, it's applicable to a lot of things in life, not just fitness. So I think that's kind of like a little deep for me because I usually don't
open up
talk about the future and stuff like that. But I do think that's important to realize. Are you not taking opportunities, or are you not doing all you can because it's inconvenient for you right now? Or are you looking at the bigger picture in life and how far is that going to get you? And are you going to create good memories and have a good life set up for yourself? Or are you going to think back and be like, man, I should have done that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a motivational speaker, and he says that there's more ideas, more I should haves, more lost dreams in the cemetery than any other place on earth.
Oh, that's so true.
So yeah, that's something, you don't want to go. That's another thing for me too. I don't ever want to go like out thinking that same thing, like I could have done more.
Yes.
Like with my time, So one of the things I really love about Ashley, I mean, I love everything about Ashley, but one of the things I love most about Ashley is like, one time someone asked her, what is she the most afraid of? And her answer was being average.
Yes.
And
God, that scares me.
Right? Yeah. Like just to be like, everyone here can be special. Like everyone talking can be special.
Yes, at
but
something in life.
I mean,
not just fitness, but anything, whatever you decide to do, like you can be something special in, but you're not going to get to that point unless you go through all those tasks that needs to be done. Because all the successful people, you included, you don't just kind of wait for things to happen, and you're not just like, you actually are proactive and you go out there and do all that you possibly can to make sure that you're the best you can be.
Yeah, and it's important, people, like especially a lot of like trainers in my area or whatever, they'll be like, oh, well, he's lucky he's got this or that, or he got this. And I'm like, no, dude, I created my own luck. Like it took 20 years to like work hard every day. And then I'll get a lot of trainers ask me too, like, how did you become successful as a trainer? And I was like, oh, it took me 13 years to become an overnight sensation. You know what I mean? Like it took so much every day for so many years before I finally got recognized, And actually through hardship is where it became, I guess that's a whole other topic, right?
Yes.
But through hardship is that, we'll go into that one day, but through hardship is how it became what it is today.
Yes.
But but anyway, let's go into like back into motivation and stuff. I think one of the cool things that you wrote down, and another cool thing like with Ashley, like so you guys know, is like she works so hard at this stuff too. Like she doesn't do anything half-assed. It's always full ass.
Yes, you gotta have both cheeks.
Both cheeks are involved.
Both cheeks, not just one.
Like we're doing a podcast, and then all these notes and topics and all these things come through. And I was like,
organized.
Man, you're so good at this stuff. And people like don't know that they're just like, oh, she just Instagram model.
Model.
We joke around and say Instagram model all the time. But like it's a super organized tasks that she does. So staying motivated for that's a whole nother thing, like organization and all these different things that are out. So one of the things I thought was really cool that you talked about is like about getting results equaling your motivation, And I think that that's something that I've seen a lot as a coach. I mean, you want to go into any of that with?
Well, like I mentioned, I've had little dips in my career where I wasn't motivated enough. And it kind of shows, I kind of went through the motions in the gym. I didn't give it my all. My mindset was not there. It was just elsewhere. It was just kind of like I need a break. And that was a big wake-up call that I did need a little break, you know? So I took that break. I went on vacation to Hawaii, and everything was all good after, and I felt motivated again. But I think it's important, like, sometimes breaks are okay, you know? Don't be so hard on yourself. You can just relax for a little bit so you can get your motivation back. You get refocused. You're fresh. But yeah, that is something that I went through. Japan show was a good example. I just was like,
burnt out.
I want to say like 85% there instead of my usual 100.
Yeah, for sure. And it's rare to see you like that. But one of the things I'll say I see as a coach too is meal plan. Like when I change meal plans and frequency of updates to the client plan, because like how I do it is someone will check in and then with their measurements and weight and all that, and then I'll adjust it according to how much progress they made that week. This one time, so the average change of a nutrition plan is like 2 to 3 weeks. Like we always change it like pretty much every 2 to 3 weeks. There's something changing on a plan. But there was this one time I had this guy, his name's Stuart Tessera, and he actually together, me and him, he's like gone through this huge transformation. He's lost like 140 pounds total. Wow. He became a trainer. He won a show, won an overall, like huge transformation. Awesome, motivating guy to watch if you ever want to see him. And he actually trains clients now at the prep center. But we were doing his prep one time. And obviously he's like at the prep center all the time, so I see him all the time. I'm knowing what's happening with his prep and whatever too. And he didn't have a menu plan change for so long. And I was like, I felt bad because that's my job is to change the menu plan. All right. And I'm like, did he like slip through the cracks? Did I just forget to like change his menu plan or something? Like what's going on? Why is this happening? And so I like looked back and I was like, his menu plan needs to change. Like, why isn't it changing? And then so I'm looking at it and he got exactly the target results every week for 13 weeks. 13 weeks straight. I've never had a menu plan go that long in my life. Like it never. Like it's the most is like 6 weeks before I change a menu. And I was like, Stuart, what's I just talked to him. I was like, hey man, I just want you to know, like, I really want to change your menu plan, but if you're hitting the weekly target every week, I'm not going to change it because it's working perfectly. I'm not going to purposely give you less food when it's working exactly the way it needs to work. He's like, I was wondering about that. I was like, yeah, man, it's just, I feel bad. I'm supposed to do this for you, right? Like, I feel like I'm not working, you know, and I hate that feeling. And I was like, what are you doing for your workouts? And so like, I was like, you're doing the plan on the workouts? He's like, yeah. He's like, but I work out pretty intensely. And I was like, let's like go through workouts together. I just want to see what you're doing. And he worked out so hard. Like he was so motivated every set. Everything was 100%. He would add drop sets and do things like that. Then I watched his cardio. His cardio was so hard. He's like, dude, I'm just really motivated right now.
That's awesome.
And I was like, dude, that's what's happening. Like you're so motivated and you're working out so intensely that your body's not able to adapt as easily as someone who's kind of going through the motions. Who I'm changing their menu plan every week because I just have to catch up with something. Man,
motivation is like the best, I guess, like key to a successful diet and training regimen.
Oh, totally.
Like, man, it really makes a difference. It's almost like you don't even realize how hard you're working because when you're so motivated and so focused and in the zone, it doesn't even matter. You love it. Yeah. You love it. And you don't get bored. You get excited every day you wake up because you're about to go train or whatever it may be. But I wish I had like 100% motivation every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe not so much, but I try to stay pretty motivated.
Yeah, that was probably like the most motivated prep I've seen from someone because I've never had it go that long. It was crazy, and that was the time he won the overall.
Yeah.
He went through his first full show, and it was just crazy. And this is someone who's already lost at that point. He probably already lost 120 of the pounds of the 140. And so, like, he should be slowing down at that point because he's lost so much, you know? And it's just crazy. He rarely runs into plateaus. But it just shows you motivation is such a big part of the game. You know, you're creating a stimulus through exercise. And the other thing, too, that I see is there's actually a girl that I prep, and I don't tell her when we're doing shows. I don't tell her.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So what I do is I realize, because I've been with her like almost 3 years now, and what I realize is she, like, as soon as she starts doing a show, now she's always motivated, but she stresses out so much that it like her results just slow dramatically, because she overthinks everything.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I don't know how that correlates, like, it doesn't make sense, like, scientifically, or like, you know, physiologically, it doesn't make any sense to me, at least. And but when she starts getting in prep and starts thinking about it, overthinking, like everything just stops. I don't know if it's her cortisol goes through the roof. I don't know what's going on.
Interesting.
But so now I just don't tell her when we're doing shows. I'm like,
probably a good
we're just
idea.
leaning out. We're just leaning out.
Yeah.
And then like, that's all we're doing is leaning out. And then like a couple weeks out, I'm like, all right, let's do it. Because she already has her suits. I know their suit manufacturer. So I'm like, I tell them, I talk to her husband to get it or whatever. But it's like, yeah, it's crazy, right?
Wow,
So,
that's a crazy approach. Me, I'm like, I need to know the date and the time of going on stage, or I can't even prep.
it's crazy because like with her, she gets probably like I would say like 30% better results. Probably like 30% better results.
That's pretty bad.
When she's just but she's always motivated, and then until she stresses. So that's another thing. You can tell like, and the reason I say that is because the mind has so much to do with this. You know, whether it's motivation or you stressing it and overthinking it.
Yep.
You know, all of it has just so much to do. It's a mental game. I think probably more than anything. You know? So,
I kind of like to think of it like this. So, if you ever have one of those days where you wake up and you're just like, you know, like nothing excites you, you're just kind of going through the motions the whole day, you're just kind of existing.
Yeah.
I like to think like, why are we thinking negatively? Like, is there something that happened yesterday? Did you not get enough sleep? Are you dreading something in the future? Why are you having a negative outlook on even your workout, let's say?
Yeah.
Like, is it going to cut it close with another errand you have to run? I think it's important to analyze what is making you feel negatively about going to the gym or your diet, you know? Because I think it's better to pick at it like that and see if you can fix it that way than to just go through the motions, like I said. Because that's, you know, you don't want to waste your day. You don't want to waste a workout or going to the gym. So if I ever find myself thinking negatively, I'm like, okay, what is it that I'm dreading? Why am I dreading going to the gym? Okay, it's because I'm tired. All right, well, you know, I'm going to try to get more sleep tomorrow. Maybe that'll fix the problem. But until then, my thinking is negative. It's a light switch. I'm going to flick it up. Now it's positive.
Yeah.
I'm positive, okay? I'm going to smile. I'm going to be happy. And I'm just going to go to the gym because I think sometimes just the procrastination makes everything worse. Like it makes the dread so much worse when you're procrastinating. When if you just went to the gym, get it done, get it over with, you're going to feel so much better afterwards, which is another thing to look forward to is feeling better.
Yeah.
You don't feel any guilt like, oh, I skipped a workout. And, you know, you can look back and be like, okay, that's finished, out of my mind, and I'm starting fresh.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. I think sometimes the hardest part about going to the gym is getting to the gym itself. And then when you're there, you're like, okay, all right, I'm feeling it, you know?
Yeah, a couple sets in, that couple set motivation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they say it's the worst workout. The worst workout is the one you didn't do, or something like that. Like that's a saying, or there's a saying like that out there. So as far as like the gym motivation thing goes, and I've worked out since I was 13 years old. So it's like, you know, it's a huge part of my life at this point. But even I go through those motivational issues where I'm not super motivated, or like, especially around this time of year, I'm like, I think a lot like about like, oh, the big shows coming up and all these things. And I start like, kind of like putting myself like I put myself second, I guess, but that's an excuse, you know. I got to recognize that's an excuse.
Oh, that's
and so
a good point.
Absolutely, you got to recognize the excuse.
Recognize the excuses.
Yeah.
That's a big tip.
Yeah, like I'll work a lot. I'll be like, you know, I'm working a lot, but I'm like, but I do that to myself, and that's an excuse. I can find the time if I did it right. So what I do, which is, you know, it's not available to everyone, but what I do is actually I hire a trainer sometimes for like months at a time.
That's a good idea. See, even somebody that's so good at training yourself, like you even need that extra push and accountability sometimes.
Yeah, and I work. It's really cool. As I work with like friends too, like that are like trainers in the industry, and I'll work out with them, and they just basically push me through workouts. But I mean, I can't even tell you how many I've worked out with at this time. I usually work with one for like 2 to 3 months at a time, and I'll do it like 4 days a week, 5 days a week, like at my place or at wherever I'm working. Now I've had the prep center for a year, so it's there. But and I do it like at 12 o'clock, and every day it's at 12 o'clock, so I know no matter what, the staff knows no matter what, I'm out of the office at 12. So it creates that routine again for me when I'm unmotivated. And then obviously when you're working out with someone pushing you through workout, you just work harder. That's just the way it is.
You know what you said that's really standing out to me is like the fact that, you know, you could make excuses. And I think I can make 100 excuses why I don't want to go to the gym. When you can make 100 excuses why you don't want to go to the gym or shouldn't go to the gym, but you know what? You make it happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really separates people, the successful people from the woulda, coulda, shoulda people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The successful people found a way because they stopped the excuses and just found the solution and made it work. It wasn't easy. No one would ever anybody who was successful will not say, "Oh yeah, it was easy," you know, but they found a way to make it happen. And I think that's super important, to eliminate these little excuses and just make it work.
Yeah.
Find some accountability, a coach, a training partner, a friend. That always helps get me to the gym.
Especially if you can't afford a trainer, to hire like in the gym with you, then just work out with a friend.
Yeah.
And I've had it happen a couple times. And actually, this girl named Lauren Atkins, she won Miss Colorado when I trained her years ago. And her friend, like, they had slightly different body types, so they should have had different routines. And but they wanted to work out together because it kept them motivated. And I was like, you know what? That's more important than the routines being so different. So let's get both of your guys' routines. And let's kind of merge them together on all the positives and negatives, right? And kind of put something that's kind of in between both of you. And they did that routine every day for state. They both won their class, and Lauren won the overall.
That's
so
awesome.
Really cool, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do that at like a pro level, but for the time being, or maybe in your off season if you're lacking motivation, like put a workout plan together with one of your friends and do that with them every day for 6 weeks or whatever, 12 weeks. And like really push each other. That's really cool too. So,
and if you don't have friends, you can always enroll in like a workout class. Not that that's going to be your entire it shouldn't be your entire workout regimen is just getting into workout classes, because that probably won't get you the results you want. But it's okay to do like a spin class every once in a while, for some cardio, or even me, I sign up for races.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, all right, I signed up for this 10K. I paid. I'm ready to go. And I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and run this race. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Am I doing it? No, I'm doing it because I signed up and I did it,
That's pretty cool.
I think it's a good tip as well, is if you can't find anybody to work out with, you can always get into some classes or a race or something like that, you sign up for it and you're being held accountable.
And if you don't have any friends, me and Ashley are your friend.
Yes, we will be your friend.
We'll definitely be your friend.
Hi, friend. Hi, friend.
Yeah, so a lot of different ways of doing things. Now let's go into a couple others, because these are some of the popular things that we've heard of. And if you guys have any other ones, like, send them to us too, because it's always helpful to like spread the word. So one of them is like switching up your gym.
Yeah, that's always helpful.
That's
I like
huge
switching it up and going to Colorado.
Yeah,
that's a nice little switchy doodle dandy.
Yeah, I love switching up gyms. Like, that's one of the things I really like.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the things I do. I like hunt gyms wherever we go.
Hunting.
Yeah, so wherever we're at, like, I try to find different gyms. Like, it's just fun for me to try and just different places. I actually did that. I used to call it gymcationing, and I would like
gymcationing. I like it.
Go, and I did it. I used to do it a lot with my ex-girlfriend. She was a pro bikini fighter, and we would just like look for places and travel together. We had all these cool stories of like going to these different gyms. And it was so fun,
Yeah.
And every time we do, we have a crazy hard lift because it was like so motivating to be at this new place, and we were like the new people there, and everyone was like, everyone was always like, "Oh, who you guys?" and whatever. It was just fun, So that's one of the things.
Yes.
So now one of the things too that I've found people do is. So like the contest prep center where I'm at, it's really good for leg day. It's really good for back day and really good for chest day.
You're going to say different body parts for different gyms.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Like find like what's really cool for you, and like maybe you got a really good leg day gym and you want to go there. And I have people that come in like even during regular work hours when the gym's not open, and they do their leg day there because it's like
that's good.
Because it's pretty much like we have it all set up for like legs and booty as like a thing,
right?
And then also for guys like back and chest because it's men's physique too. So it's pretty fun to do that, and
that
have
is
different.
A good idea. Yes, and you can also switch up routines as well. And I mean, different equipment means probably a different routine is available as well. So that's another good advantage to different gyms, because it'll have different pieces of equipment you're not used to, and you're just like, oh, this looks fun, and wow, this targets my glutes really well, or whatever it may be.
And I think one of the things that's really cool that Ashley does too is because one of the probably the hardest part about prep, at least for me, the hardest part about prep is just how boring like cardio is on a machine, like constantly being on a machine. Like Ashley always tries to find a way to do it outside. It's at least most of the time. Right now, well, her knee hurts, and then we have her on the curved treadmill. But when it's not hurting, when she tries to do races, like she said, I know people who do like their HIIT cardio, and they do it up a hill, and like they have like a small hill like by their house somewhere, and they run up the hill, HIIT, and then they just like walk down slowly, and then they run up the hill, HIIT, and walk down slowly. Like things like that become more fun. If you have any like stairs, like the Santa Monica stairs by Ashley, I have Red Rocks by my house, which is really cool. Like 1 day, 2 days a week going there for cardio, and it's just like so nice, to be outside and do that.
You know what I like to do with cardio as well? If I am stuck in a gym, I like to switch the equipment pieces like throughout my cardio. So like let's say I'm doing, I don't know, a 30-minute cardio. I'll do like 10 minutes on the step mill, 10 minutes on the treadmill, 10 minutes on the elliptical. And that seems to be kind of more fun for me too, because it's like, switching it up. I'm not just doing the same thing for the whole time. So you guys might want to try that as well.
Yeah. So there's this saying in business, and it says, a business with no plan is a plan of no business. Right?
Oh, really?
So the same thing applies for fitness. A fitness without a goal is a goal of no fitness, right? Okay. So what I think is setting goals is a big part of the motivation as well.
That is a good one. Yes, that's super important.
And for I think there's like some big motivations out there. One of them is obviously a show. Like people are so dedicated when it's showtime.
Yeah.
Like that's always like a thing, right? It's a lot easier when there's a time-based deadline. So even if you don't want to do a show and you're just trying to be fit and be motivated, having a deadline for something is always helpful. Whether it's, I want to go to the beach on this day and look awesome in this new bikini, and then you buy that bikini and just like keep it up in your room.
Yeah.
There's also like, one of the bigger motivations is like vacations. That's a big motivation.
And wedding days for those people getting married, they want to look nice, or maybe a pool party. They're trying to impress someone they like.
The wedding day I get is more motivating than any
Really?
show, anything.
No.
I get some seriously motivated. Like when I have transformation people and it's like brides. Those, when it's a bride, I know they're just going to follow it. Like I've never had a bride not. I'm sure there's some out there, but for some reason, like I can have girls do shows, and I'll have girls fall off of shows here and there. It just happens. But with a bride, I've never had a bride fall off a plan. They just stick to it. They look awesome in that dress.
Yes.
But if you don't have any of those things, maybe it's like, you document your fitness. Maybe like a photo shoot. Maybe like set up something at a date. 12 weeks from now, 16 weeks from now, and you set it up and you pay a deposit down, and that helps too. Like I got to stay motivated for that. Yeah. So
you know what I find to be one of the biggest motivations for me, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate, is seeing your own progress is so motivating. It's like, oh yeah, I worked so hard this week, and wow, look at me now. Look, I look so much better. Or I can see like, my delt coming in, or oh look, my hamstring, or that is so motivating. It sounds so cheesy,
it's so funny that
you're like flexing the mirror and stuff, but it is. It's like, yeah, I worked hard for that, and I want to do again because I love the results. So. Yeah.
What's really funny is Ashley will go through, like, her body will go through these changes. There's like 3 of them, and that she'll notice when she's getting like closer to competition.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we all have these.
So funny.
It's different for everyone.
Well, like one of them is when she's finally lean enough.
Yes.
Her cheekbones is like
my cheekbone.
She
I
feels
can feel
it. It gets harder.
Yeah.
And when she's almost lean enough, when she goes to the bathroom with side tendon.
When I'm sitting on the toilet, the little tendons, the hip flexor.
Yeah,
tendons,
you can see I
can feel the separation in the two of them.
She's like, Adam, I went to the bathroom and I can feel those. I can feel those things. I'm getting close. Yes. And then what is it? It's veins in the shoulder. Is it?
No, I don't
separation,
have any of those.
Separation in the shoulder.
I wish I had that. I don't know what it is.
There's one more. I forget what it is. But
the V muscle.
Yes.
The V muscle.
So it's like different stages of knowing. Like it's so funny, but that's super motivating when she sends that text. Like she's like she knows it's working, and so yeah. So all right. So we've talked about what to do, right, and how to stay motivated. But what do you do when you're like in a rut? Like that's, I guess, because there's going to be some people listening to this just for motivation, right? So like, what do you do if you just can't even get motivated?
You know what?
I can't get in the gym, and
that's when I say maybe it's time to take a little bit of a break, enjoy a few days vacation, or having a weekend out with your friends. I think that's very helpful. Another thing you could do is actually go. I went to a bikini show, and it was just an amateur show, and I got so motivated from it because I'm like, oh man, I want to be back on stage. Like, all these girls look so good. I want to do that again, you know?
Yeah.
So I think for me, that's what helps. What else would you suggest?
I would say that helps a lot too, with the show thing, especially like going to a show and watching, you know, especially when you go somewhere like the Olympia or one of these big shows.
Yeah, people get so motivated after that.
And you're like, you see these like the best physiques in the world, and then you're like, you know what? There's nothing different between that guy and me. It's just besides the amount of work that he's put in that I have it on a daily basis, you know. And I don't think to me it's like almost like a challenge. It's like that guy's not harder working than I am, you know, like why can't I do that same thing? And I think that so for me, that's like super motivating. But as a coach, I tell people, you know, when I see them lacking motivation, like it's on, you know, it's hard, especially as an online coach, because I'm like almost everyone I train is online. Like actually everyone is online, even in Denver, they check in online. So like if I see them in person, they still check in online. So everyone's online. But you know, you're not there with them all the time, so you can't be like it's hard to be the best motivator in that scenario.
Yeah.
So what I try to tell people is like if they're freaking out, they're just trying to find ways to get motivated, they're not doing it, I'm just like, hey, just take a break. Like it's okay. Like it's not going to hurt you the way you think it is. I had a girl who she turned pro recently, and you know, she was just, her life was getting in the way and whatnot. I was like, hey, like take a break. It's fine. Like it's not gonna hurt you the way you think it's gonna hurt you. One of my really good friends, Russ Allen, he's a prep coach too. He takes like crazy breaks after like shows. He's taken like 3 months off in a row. You know, and he just knows his body really well. And then as soon as he starts competing again, like and starts prepping again, his body comes right back. So like, and I've seen that happen with people who are injured, who like broke their arm and couldn't. I know a guy who's a judge in Colorado named Mateo. He broke his arm, lost everything. Within 2 months of lifting again, it looked exactly the same as when he left. So people freak out when they have to take a week off, you know. They're like, it's all going to go away. And I'm like, no, man.
No.
Like, look at these guys, and they come right back. Your muscle doesn't, like, it'll leave, but it'll come right back. But after like a week, it won't leave.
Right.
Like maybe you're talking like a month, and then you'll get a little squishy, and then it comes right back. Yeah. So if that's what it takes, like, then do it. You know, I've taken a week off.
I take a week off after every show.
Yeah.
Unless I have like a show in like 2 weeks after that. That's the only time I wouldn't. But yeah. And you tell me to. And I definitely don't feel any pressure to like overexert myself or go to the gym. That doesn't drive me crazy for some reason. Like some people get that itch, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna lose the muscle. Oh my gosh, I gotta get to the gym. I feel weird. Like no, I'm just like, yeah, I love this. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, and it's, you know, there's a lot of recovery that we don't talk about, like in fitness. So when you're in the gym, you're also training your nervous system. And when you're going through like preps, these real extreme preps, your nervous system gets taxed, you know, and you sometimes need a break, even though when you don't feel like your muscles are sore and your muscles need a break, like they need to recover because they're sore, your nervous system, you're not going to feel that way. You're not going to feel like a soreness in your nervous system. What's going to happen is you will have like less motivation. You'll be more tired. You'll have less desire to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And that's a sign too that you actually might need a break, not even just are taking a break because of motivation, because maybe your motivation isn't something like that's like you just not being motivated. Maybe it's your body telling you, hey, we need to recover because you just took me through some crazy intense prep and I'm just tired. I just need a break, you know? So don't be afraid to take a break. Nothing wrong with that. Even if you're one of like my students, like take a break. Just tell me, hey, I want to take a week. Take a week. It's fine. So
you know what I think is also very important when it comes to motivation? Sleep. Because sleep can really alter our mood. Just think about it. Like if you don't get the right amount of sleep, you're cranky. You're just kind of like lethargic. You're just like, meh, you know? But if you have a good night's rest and you wake up and you're like, yeah, feeling ready to conquer the day, then I think it's like, you know, such a huge difference as well. So if you're not feeling so hot lately, maybe try to get a few more hours of sleep.
I think that's like critical. Yes.
And another good thing you can do is hang around people that are very motivating. Like Adam here is very motivating. I'm always so motivated when he comes to visit me or I visit him. He's a great motivator. And I think part of it is your personality. Like you're always happy, no complaints kind of personality, but you have the same kind of mindset and the whole like, yeah, we got to get it done mentality. So I really appreciate that. And I think it's important to find like-minded people that are also inspiring and motivating that you can kind of connect with, even if it is just having a talk at coffee, anything. You don't necessarily have to work out together, but even having conversation is motivating sometimes.
I think that's actually super important that you bring that up. There's a saying that goes, you're the sum of the 5 people you're closest to, or there's there's another one that says, show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Oh, okay.
And they're true. It's absolutely true,
Yeah.
And so I think, if you're hanging around a group that's like, I wouldn't want to say anti-fitness, but is like, if you're hanging around a lot of people that are like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Like, just come out with us and drink. Come do this. Like, I mean, you might want to look at that too as being like one of the factors, because you're getting outside pressure to not do the things that you want to do in fitness.
Exactly.
And those people might be bringing you down, And so I'm super, you're the same way as I am. I'm like I'm so selective of who's in my circle that like I almost like feel like people are like, he's just hard to get close to, like with me. But it's like, no, it's like I'm just super, super selective of who it is. I want them to make me better.
That's really smart.
Unless they can make me better, then I really don't want that person bringing me down. You know what I mean? So, you're definitely in my circle. You're like one of the.
Oh, really?
You're probably like the biggest in my circle.
Oh my gosh, I'm cool enough to be in your circle.
Yeah, you make you make me better. And I think that's important to find that.
I love it.
In not just in like your. Like in your own, your close circle, but in your love life and in your and in your friends and your gym partners and all that. Like you should be hanging around people that make you better.
Yes.
So
I think it's important, and I'm sure you've all met people in your life where you're either like you feel so happy after seeing them or talking to them, and then there's some people that you just feel like, maybe they don't have good energy, as you would say. But I think it's important to really take a step back and look, why are they making you feel this way? And maybe you shouldn't, spend so much time around them if they're not, good influences on your life.
Yeah. And not just motivation in the gym, but motivation in being successful in life in general. You know what I mean? So
they don't necessarily have to be, into fitness, but if they're driven and focused and motivational, that's a good person to be around.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, let's go. Is there anything else you want to kind of
there's a few other things you can do to perhaps help with your motivation a little bit. And these are like things you've probably already tried, but maybe forgotten. I think having a motivational playlist on your phone is helpful sometimes. You can play it in the car on your way to the gym, get you pumped up. Also, YouTube is great.
YouTube's awesome.
Oh, yes. YouTube is amazing. Like, where were we without YouTube?
Seriously.
You can find anything you want to know on YouTube and shows you how to do it. But find a motivational channel, such as Adam's or mine, to watch. Maybe you need that little inspiration or a little pick-me-up. And I think that can be very helpful, too, if you're just feeling meh.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things I love the most. Like that's funny. That's one of like in the future, one of my things I want to aspire to be is like more of like motivational speaker.
Yeah,
like more,
I can see that.
Not like in like big college like forums and whatnot,
You
but
can
just like a
definitely
better
talk
coach.
a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna be.
I love it.
Do you know I'm gonna be? I'm gonna marry Tori and Dan.
You
so
told
I'm gonna be
me
the ordained minister. So
that's
my
just
start.
another thing to add on the resume of everything else.
Now I'm gonna start marrying people. That's gonna be fun.
Exactly. You can hire him. Send him a DM.
Gosh, that's gonna be fun. But that's part of the whole public speaking thing I want to get better at, right? So, but the motivation on YouTube is so cool to see, like to watch the motivational videos. And there's a lot of like bodybuilding motivational videos. And like if you're just now, I don't believe in this is gonna like people are gonna lose their mind when I say this. I don't believe in warm-ups for the gym because they've never been proven to decrease the risk of injury when people warm up in the gym. And so what I say about warm-ups is, hey, if you're warming up in the gym for 10 minutes every day and you work out 6 days a week, well, you're wasting an hour of just warming up and it's not doing anything for you. So I'll just like,
efficient.
Just don't do it. And you get you can get a full extra workout in by just saving that time. But the one thing I will say is if you do decide to warm up and you watch like a motivational video before you hammer the gym and it makes your workouts that much better, do it because that is super fun for me when I'm like feeling down or whatever. I'll go in and I'll do like 5 minutes, 8 minutes of stairs and watch like, there's a couple specific motivational videos that are like all, crazy jacked guys like Kai Green lifting weights with hard music and stuff. And I'm like, and then I go in there and I'm like, I'm going to kill this workout, So, so that's helpful for me.
Too, coming from the other side, isn't it cool to know that you actually inspire people and motivate people? Because I love knowing that. I love that feeling like, wow, this girl just messaged me from like South Africa, and she said because she watched my video and she did my workout and she like pushed through it, and she's like, you know, doing better in the gym and stuff and with her diet. Like, the fact that you have influence on people to better their lives, the fact that I can motivate people motivates me as well.
Yeah.
I love that feeling.
Absolutely.
It's great.
It's like, yeah, there's little compensation that I need more than that.
Yeah.
That is like, because you're giving back to the world, you know,
Giving
and
back.
making the world better through fitness. And
Yes.
and that's the thing is, a lot of people will see where we're at in our careers, which is, you know, farther along than most people. But there's no reason why you can't be that in the next few years too. You know, I started behind a table working for free at a gym for a long period of time before I made a significant income. Like, I was like, if you do the whole story of it, like I was eating, like they gave me special deals at the chicken place. Like I lived with 5 roommates at a time to try to get here. And like it was pretty rough going, you know? And like Ashley, she started off just doing competition. She was at the bar or the
Oh
restaurant.
yeah, I was a bartender.
Yeah.
That's right. You know, living in Ohio, I was a bartender, and I remember, you know, I'd work maybe 3 or 4 nights a week, and I would rarely ever hit like $100. You know what I mean? So I was surviving off very little. I was living with my parents still. I was doing some NPC competitions, and I remember I would have to room with like 5 girls at a competition.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a Cinderella story for me, I guess, because it's like, you know, I was just kind of giving it my all, but not really having much to work with in the financial department. And, you know, I never really thought I'd leave Ohio, and I never thought like I would be where I am today. But I just took all the great opportunities that came my way. I was never lazy about it, and, you know, turned pro, won the Olympia, and then that's when all the opportunities started coming my way.
Yeah.
And I even look back and I'm like, I don't even know if I would be where I'm at today if I didn't take all these like little opportunities or chances to get better.
Yeah.
And all the gym sessions and, you know, all the, I guess, struggles that it took to get me to where I am today. It just like makes, they say, what is it? The harder the struggle, the sweeter the reward.
Yeah.
And just knowing that like that's where I came from and this is me now, it's like, wow, I can't believe it. I just like exceeded so many goals of mine.
It's so cool. And I think, like, and we want to say these things, you know, obviously we try to be as humble and modest as possible, but we say it just because there's a lot of you out there who are getting started and you're in that situation right now. And just know, like, everything you put in now is going to pay you back so much later. You know?
And it might suck right now. It's going to be tough. It's going to be inconvenient. It's going to be difficult, but it's going to be worth it in the long run.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many, like, and if you're there, whether you're a trainer or you're an athlete and you're just getting started, like, a lot of trainers don't make it, you know, because it's so hard to get clients.
Yes.
Like, I didn't, and then people will think, well, they'll see me now and be like, oh yeah, I mean, you always had it like that. I'm like, no, I was not a successful trainer in the beginning. It took me forever to become successful. So, so just hang with it, hang tough, stay motivated, and find another reason. And I think with that,
yeah, I think that should be a lot of motivation for you guys to finish off the week. But thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you all. And like I mentioned previously, you know, if you're listening to this podcast and you get motivated, that's like motivating for me and Adam, and I love it. And I, you know, keep the messages coming. I appreciate it all. We're just like still shocked, like how many people are just sending all the love and support for this podcast. So we really, really want to thank you guys.
Yeah, it's overwhelming for us for sure.
Yeah, we were like, what?
Like, we're just like trying this thing.
Ooh, wow.
You know, it's not like a venture where we're like, oh, we're going to try to make millions doing it or anything like that. Like, we don't make anything. It's just like, we're just doing
fun.
it.
I like it.
We do it for you guys. So you guys guide it. You guys tell us what to do. You know, give us suggestions.
Yes, please.
And follow her, Ashley K Fit. I'm at Team Elite Physique on Instagram. We also have YouTube channels.
Yes.
Other than that, thank you guys so much, and we'll keep them going.
Thank you. Applicable. There we go. Yay!
She'll have it for sure by next week.
It only took me by the end of this podcast to get it. All right. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.